So if you're someone who is creating your own music, right? If you're a songwriter, if you're a producer or improviser in music, then knowing these three types of seventh chords is very, very important. And you need to be able to differentiate them because there are a lot of confusion, which we'll fix right now. So let's start with the first type of seventh chord. It is called the major seventh chord, right? And we have the C major scale here, as you can see. So the C major scale, we all know it's C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C, as I've written here. Now, what happens if we take the first one, skip the second, take the third one, skip the fourth, then the fifth, skip the sixth, and take the seventh one, and look what we have here. It's C, E, G, and B. Now let's put them together on top of each other. Then we have our C major seventh chord. So C major seventh chord only comes from the major scale, right? And we skip one note, meaning that we stack thirds. A third is an interval. We can dive deeper later, but we are in a third based harmony right now, most classically. So when we are stacking thirds, if you notice, we started on the line, right? C is on the line. Then we're on the line again. Then we're on the line again. So we're stacking thirds, meaning if we start on the line, we end up in the line. So that's a useful way to see it. But always be careful to stay inside the major scale. That means you also know. You have to know almost all the major scales, right? But we'll fix that too. So for the second type, we will, by the way, this is shown as C major seventh, or you can see it used like with a triangle, or a triangle with a seventh. These all mean the same thing, right? So the second type of major seventh chord is called the minor seventh, which is quite similar in construction. So we have the C minor scale, which is C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, and then C. Now we do the same thing, right? So we take 1, we take 3, we take 5, we take 7, but this time when we stack them together, we have C, we have E flat, we have G, and we have B flat. And this is C minor seventh written like that. Now we still stack thirds, but the types of thirds that we stack are different now. So remember, if all of the notes come from the major scale, it's a major seventh chord. If all of the notes come from the minor scale, it's a minor seventh chord. Now there is one more very, very important seventh chord, which is the dominant seventh chord, which doesn't come from either of these scales. So dominant seventh chords do not belong to major or minor scales if we take the beginning. So C dominant scale is not from C minor or C major scale. So how do we get it? You start just like you would start as a major seventh chord, right? So we have C, E, G, and B. This would be called a C major seventh chord. But we take the top note and lower it, flatten it by a semitone, making it a B flat. Now this is a C dominant seventh chord. I'm writing it explicitly because you'll see it written as C7 most of the time. Okay, it's not C major dominant seventh, it's not C dominant major minor seventh. There are no dominant major or dominant minor seventh. There are only 3 types of seventh chords in the beginning. Of course, things go crazy, but in the beginning, the most basic and most useful ones are C major or D major, E major seventh chord, the minor seventh chord, or the dominant seventh chord. So in order to get the dominant seventh chord, you take the major seventh chord, then lower the top note by a semitone. Hope that's clear. We have a lot more stuff to cover, so a lot more is coming tune in, stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next video.